Hi, welcome to English Journey Adventures. Today's story is simple, but it hurts a little. Listen and follow. This is my mother left me at the mall. Everyone said my mother left me at the mall. I was only 12 years old. For many years, I asked myself one painful question. Did she really forget me? My name is Lily. When I was a child, I was very quiet. I listened more than I spoke. People often said, Lily is easy. Lily never causes trouble. My little brother Ben was different. He was 6 years old, fast, funny, and loud. If Ben wanted water, everyone knew. If Ben was angry, the whole house knew. I also needed things. I needed time. I needed hugs. I needed someone to ask, "Are you really okay?" But I did not know how to say that. One Saturday morning, my mother took us to the mall. She needed shoes for Ben and food for dinner. The mall was crowded, bright, and noisy. Ben pulled her hand again and again. Near the shoe store, I saw a small bookstore. It looked quiet and warm. I asked, "Mom, can I look at the books?" She looked tired, but she nodded. She said, "Stay here. Do not move. I will buy Ben's shoes, and I will come back." I said, "Okay." That was the kind of child I was. I always said okay. At first, I was happy. The bookstore smelled like paper and coffee. I found a story about a girl who traveled alone. I smiled because she was brave. 10 minutes passed. Then 20 minutes passed. I stood near the door with the book in my hands. Every time a woman passed, my heart jumped. After 30 minutes, my hands felt cold. I walked to the front of the store and looked into the mall. I did not see my mother. I did not see Ben. A woman who worked in the bookstore came to me. She asked, "Are you lost?" I wanted to say no, because lost children were small children. But my voice was shaking. I said, "I am waiting for my mother." The woman looked at the empty mall behind me. Then two customers began to whisper. One said, "Poor girl." The bookstore worker took me to the security office. A guard gave me water and asked for my mother's phone number. I knew the number. I said it slowly, digit by digit. The guard called once. No answer. He called again. No answer. The room became very quiet. I looked at the floor and tried not to cry. Outside the office, people watched through the glass. I heard their voices. Her mother left her. Maybe she forgot. How can a mother do that? A girl from my school walked past the glass wall. Her name was Emma. She saw me sitting there and covered her mouth with her hand. On Monday, I knew everyone would know. They would not ask me what happened. They would tell the story their own way, louder and uglier. The word forgot stayed in my head. Maybe I was easy to forget. Maybe quiet people disappeared slowly, and nobody noticed until it was too late. The bookstore worker gave me a chair near the desk. She was kind, but kindness made me want to cry. I kept thinking, if I were Ben, Mom would already be here. The guard asked, "Is there another adult we can call?" I said my aunt's name. Then I realized I did not know her number. I felt smaller than before. Almost 2 hours passed. A policewoman arrived and sat beside me. She said, "Lily, you are safe now." I nodded, but I did not feel safe. I felt invisible. Then the office phone rang. The guard answered, listened, and looked at me. He said, "Your mother is coming." I thought I would feel happy, but I felt heavy. My mother ran into the office. Her hair was messy. Her face was white. She hugged me and said, "I am sorry. I am so sorry." I did not hug her back. People stood near the door and watched us. Someone whispered, "Now she remembers." My mother's eyes filled with tears. The guard asked my mother many questions. His voice was polite, but serious. My mother answered quickly. She kept looking at me, as if I might disappear again. Then a woman near the door said, "Some people should not have children." My mother closed her eyes. I hated that woman, but I also hated that part of me believed her. In the car, no one spoke. Then I saw the hospital building. My mother parked and said, "Ben is inside." That was when I learned the first part of the truth. Ben had fallen in the shoe store. He hit his head on a metal chair, and there was blood. My mother ran with him to a clinic, and then an ambulance took them to the hospital. Her phone fell from her bag during the panic. She asked a nurse to call my aunt, so my aunt could get me from the bookstore. But the nurse wrote one number wrong. So no one came. My mother was at the hospital with Ben, terrified. I was at the mall, waiting. The gossip was wrong, but my pain was real. When I saw Ben, he looked very small in the hospital bed. He smiled at me and said, "Lily, I fell." I wanted to be gentle, but I felt tired and angry. My mother touched my shoulder. I moved away. She looked hurt, but she did not complain. For once, my silence was not easy. It was heavy. That night, Ben slept at home with a bandage. Everyone was thankful. Everyone talked about him. I sat at the kitchen table and said nothing. My mother washed the dishes with her back to me. Finally, I asked, "Mom, did you forget me?" The kitchen became silent. She sat across from me and said, "No, Lily. But I made a terrible mistake." Then she said the sentence I never forgot, "I thought you were okay because you were always quiet." For the first time I felt angry. I said, "Quiet children are still children." My mother began to cry. She did not defend herself. She only listened. She said, "I watched the noisy child. I forgot that the quiet child also needed me." Those words hurt, but they also opened a door between us. I asked her, "If I had cried more, would you have remembered me faster?" She put her hand over her mouth. She had no quick answer. Then she said, "No child should have to become loud to be loved." That sentence stayed with me longer than any apology. The next morning, she did something small. She knocked on my door before breakfast. She asked, "Do you want to sit with me for 10 minutes, just you and me?" I wanted to say no. I wanted to punish her with silence. But I also wanted my mother. So I sat beside her, and we drank tea without speaking. The next day, a neighbor came to our door. She had heard the mall story. She said, "People are talking." My mother opened the door wider. My mother said, "Yes, I made a terrible mistake. But please do not make my daughter carry your gossip." I heard her from the hall. For the first time, she protected my quiet pain. At school, Emma told 2 girls, her mom left her at the mall. I heard them laughing near the lockers. My face became hot, but I did not run away. I said, "You heard a story. You did not hear the truth." My voice was not loud, but it was clear. The girls stopped laughing. After that day, things changed slowly. My mother stopped asking only, "Are you fine?" She asked real questions. What scared you today? What made you happy? What do you need? At first, my answers were short. Then they became longer. I learned that my voice could take up space. I learned that being quiet did not mean being invisible. Now I am an adult. When I meet a quiet child, I do not think, this child is fine. I ask, are you really okay? Then I wait for the real answer. Sometimes people say, quiet children are easy. I always answer, no. Quiet children are not easy. They are simply carrying their feelings where you cannot see them. Some people do not ask for help loudly. Some people ask with silence. We must learn to hear them. So, did my mother forget me? Not exactly. But she forgot to see me. Thank you for listening to this story. Simple English. Real stories. If you want more simple English stories with real emotion, subscribe to English Journey Adventures. See you in the next story.